Hi everyone, I'm Carly Esterhuizen, VP of Brand at EasyEquities, and today we're going to be talking about Monarch Living. It's the latest EasyProperties IPO. Situated in Tiger Valley, internal rate of return of 10.81%, estimated net rental yield of 8.16%, and a lacquer little EasyProperties discount of almost 8% at 7.79%. This IPO has been live for a couple of weeks, but it closes at the end of April. So I thought we'd get together with the head honchos behind this development. I'm chatting with Nadine Pretorius, the CEO of Only Realty Forge, which is the lead agency for this property, as well as Graham Jenneker, Chief Investment Officer at WCB, who are the developers behind this property. But Graham, you might know from somewhere else because he's actually a previous Survivor winner. We are in the presence of greatness, Graham. You guys are obviously specialists in property, and so we're going to be chatting about Monarch Living today, which I'm really excited about. But I have like a Survivor fan question, Graham. Firstly, which season were you on? Because we know Survivor's fans like binge watch every single season. Which season were you on?
Yeah, so I was on season 5, filmed at the end of 2013. And so in 2014. So yeah, that was almost over a decade ago in the South China Sea. So amazing experience, like the cover of Breakaway, it's a Getaway magazine where you're lying on the beach and you see like 20 small islands in front of you. It was good.
Tell me, did it give you any survival skills for the South African property market?
Yeah, definitely. Firstly, just a roof over your head really helps as a start. But no, I think the key thing is have a good team around you as a property developer as a start. WCB have an exceptionally strong team. Myself, Wesley, Craig, and Clayton, and Paul sort of make up the executive and the directorship. And we've spotted an opportunity, which I think is key in Survivor and I guess in the property market. And I think with the right team and the right skill set, you can definitely take the home, winning formula and provide that to the market, which I think we have. And it's been proven. We sold out phase 1 in 10 days. And we believe we were pricing at market. It's given us a lot of opportunity to increase yield to investors in phase 2 and 3. So we're extremely excited.
Wow, that's incredible. Well, I was just thinking because I moved just properties in Cape Town, and our community has, been really looking forward to a Cape Town-based property. And I think that's just because the sentiment at the moment around Cape Town property is really positive. I moved here about 6 years ago and have recently purchased a house. And I feel like that was a good decision, just looking at the performance of the property market since I've been here. Can either of you talk a bit about, I don't know, the Cape Town property trend and, what might be driving some of that positive sentiment?
I'm going to jump in first because I think Nadine's from up north. So as a born and bred Cape Townian, it is a lovely place, I think, just off the bat. There's obviously a lot of demand just from a location and geography setting. Specifically, I think the influence as well of semi-migration, that's been huge, especially in your sort of your 3-bedroom type developments or opportunities where there's opportunity for family to move in, small families or start a family. There's been a huge demand if you just look at the rental market as well. So I think geographically, yes, Cape Town is in a beautiful location, but we've seen a lot of semi-migration. People, people say it's sort of died down a bit, but when we look at the property market, we look at the rental market and we look at the sales market, prices have only been increasing. But anyway.
Being from the north and actually being one of the people that's emigrated to Cape Town, I can say that the northern suburbs just offered so much value compared to town or the southern suburbs. It also was well located in the middle, kind of from town to Paarl and Stellenbosch side. There are really good schools around here, Afrikaans schools as well as English schools. So it just makes a lot of sense, exactly as Graham was saying, for that typical starter-up family home.
Yeah,
You're missing a very important point though, Nadine. You're not including the proximity that the north is, and particularly this property to the winelands. Like it's not
Yes,
that far from
exactly.
Durbanville either.
Exactly. And then it's going to have the airport coming up as well in Durbanville. And apparently they're going to start a wine tram like they do in Franschhoek in Durbanville as well. So that will be exciting.
Take my money.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, the wine routes, and it's beautiful in Durbanville, and it's quite affordable compared to the Franschhoek side. So yeah, that definitely brings tourists as well as locals. Love that vibe.
I think maybe just also on, I guess, the commercial side, there's a lot of talk about capital appreciation and rental income on the Atlantic seaboard side, Greenpoint, Sea Point, those areas. But we're definitely seeing a capital appreciation element as well as a rental income increase in the northern suburbs as well for these reasons. So as an investor, definitely a lot of positive momentum, not just on selected areas within Cape Town, but I guess the broader Cape Town. And I think I hate to use the analogy, but it's very similar to Bitcoin, where the price just seems to keep going up, and Cape Town property market, very similar. If you're not in and you want to get in, just maybe jump on the train. I don't have Bitcoin, so I'm not
I do.
Gen Zs and millennials out there, but yeah, I don't, but I do want to jump on the train because, it seems like a one-way train.
Yeah. Obviously, we can't predict what the market's going to do, and no one has a crystal ball. But anecdotally, and certainly over the last 10 years or so, we've seen some really nice performance from the Cape Town region. Graham, you mentioned earlier, sort of the progress of the property so far, Monarch Living, and how you sold out phase 1 in 10 days, and there's been quite a bit of capital appreciation already selling the next phase. Maybe both of you guys can just speak to that and talk about why you think that is, and what sort of appreciation in price have you seen since launching?
Yeah, so I think a couple of various factors. The northern suburbs specifically, this is the Tiger Valley area we discussing now being Monarch. The Tiger Valley area hasn't seen a development of this scale for probably 10, 15 years, since potentially Tiger Waterfront. That was a massive development. Here, putting 255 units up in Tiger Valley, but not only in Tiger Valley, but also on Old Oak Road, which is one of the very popular and busy roads that sort of lead you to Tiger Valley Center, which is sort of a hub of the Tiger Valley area, to the N1. So it's very well located. You've got views of Table Mountain, beautiful sunset. So I think that's led to a huge market demand for it. The market's been starved. The price point was right, which is important. So location and price, we get that balance right, and I think the product sells itself. We have immediately seen about the 20% capital appreciation in phase 2. That's almost sold out as well. And as I mentioned, being 205 million, that's worth the sales. We expect phase 3 to be sold out in the next couple of months. So yeah, I think to answer your question in a nutshell, the position was correct, the pricing point was correct, and the demand was there. I think that's why we feel that WCB as developers, we want to focus on the Tiger Valley area. We don't want to go into the saturated Atlantic seaboard area or Century City or a southern suburbs, Claremont, those areas. We have lots of developers looking there. We believe there's demand and opportunity right here in Tiger Valley.
Yeah, I've actually loved that story. Coming from Joburg, first of all, meeting these developers who are passionate about the area. They're all from here. They know the area inside out. They want to lift it up, and that's been really nice as well. Then together with seeing the way that the area has actually responded, most of the units, obviously being the one that had received the clients, most of the units were sold to people from the area. They've been waiting for something similar. They know the demand and the need for something like that. There are a lot of students that need accommodation, businessmen. There's a lot of reason for people to have to live here or stay here, if anything. So I think the Airbnb market will really do very well as well. But yes, probably 80% of the units, if I have to thumb suck it, was sold to people from the area. They were walking from the neighboring homes saying they've been waiting for this development to go live, and they bought 3, 4 at a time. So which also shows for the, the confidence in the investment.
I love that there's this long-term vision, and I think that loyalty from the residents themselves speaks volumes about the value that they see in this property. So that's a really promising marker for investors, I guess. Nadine, you mentioned Airbnb. I was reading an article that there are actually more Airbnbs in Cape Town than they are in Barcelona. Now, I know Cape Town's a first world city. It's been voted as sort of like the #1 destination in the world a couple of times, I think, which is really great for property as well. But talk to me about short-term rentals, because Monarch is going to be able to offer that, correct? And what sort of benefit does that offer investors, being able to offer Airbnb stays or short-term rentals on this property?
Yeah, so that speaks exactly to the comments I had before. The people who did come and buy specifically mentioned that some of them had built onto their homes extra bedrooms that they were Airbnb-ing out to either students or businessmen, and the fact that they were always full, and they saw the potential of and the need for more of that. So there being as many studios, that's absolutely perfect for that kind of market. The businessman coming in a few days a week, the students also probably going home on the weekend, that kind of thing. So I think that it couldn't be better situated as well. As we were saying, those same things, the tourist things of the wine farms, the airport coming up close by. I think there's a huge need. I think most of the units will probably be Airbnb or even long-term or short-term rentals out, because there's as big a need for long-term rentals just to the community as well as there are for the short-term rentals. So I'm glad that there are. Well, are there enough units? I don't know, but at least there are quite a few. But can we keep going? The area does need it, and it's amazing. As I say, it's nice that we're building something beautiful and then keeping the area and the people all of a good caliber.
What's quite nice is that balance between long-term rentals and short-term as well, because I know short-term often has a higher sort of rental rate because it's short-term, but then you sometimes have that risk of volatility. Doesn't sound like it because the demand is obviously there, but your longer-term rentals then give you that stability and sustainability. So quite nice to have a blend of those two income streams for investors and owners.
Yeah, specifically, I think there isn't really a concern for the yield to be there on the long-term rentals because of the price point that we came in at, especially the EasyProperty price point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Getting a nice discount for investors, which is really awesome. While we're on that, what do you guys think is the benefit our EasyProperties investors are going to get by having that discount, kind of getting in on the ground floor? It's almost, I mean, maybe not as like for like, but it's almost like getting the phase 2 units at the phase 1 pricing after that capital appreciation has gone up. So there's definitely an edge there, right?
Yeah, so I guess coming in at market, or actually just below market, already gives them that instant equity, right? And then provides them that capital appreciation down the line.
The weather in Cape Town is starting to threaten winter, which makes me sad, because then we can't braai as much as what we used to braai in summer. And I was thinking, you must have some pretty intense braai skills, having to cook your own food on Survivor. So tell me, Faisal, in this property, you don't have to go to such extremes to enjoy braai, right?
100%. We made it a bit more convenient. We brought the braai to them. But yeah, the balconies are not offset. So what that means that during rainy times, there's going to be shelter on the balconies. And each unit has a braai, which is obviously, as a South African,
I was very surprised that even the bachelor units have braais. Then I met the guys and I was like, oh.
Yeah, but bachelors may braai more than all people, so it only makes sense.
100%.
That's a female bachelor. So yeah, so I think definitely we provided that. There's also an option to invert to provide inverter to the unit, among other things. So I think we've sort of counted for two of the main issues in South Africa, one being can I dry and the other being do I have power.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I don't think there's anything else we need without being close to a wine farm or a nice shopping center or in one. So I think special features tick all boxes.
Nice. Sounds like a perfect little spot to stay if you've got access to all of those things. Right, guys, I think that gives us a really good idea of Monarch Living. Incredible property, incredible opportunity. We're already almost 50% funded after only 2 weeks of being open on this IPO, which just shows you the demand from our community is massive. And I'm really excited, you know, to follow the progress of this property and see it all come together in the end. Do you guys have any closing thoughts? Anything you want to share before we sign off?
Yeah, I thought I'd just mention that to be as successful in the sales of Monarch Living, Only Realty Forge actually partnered with Veribus Marketing, who are exceptional in their digital marketing and also the development, everything that goes along with the development marketing, the whole strategy. So I'm excited about that partnership. It's actually run by Graham as well, Veribus, and the strong team that came from that. So for the developments going forward, I think that could be a winning recipe.
Yeah,
Great.
and it's from my side, something we didn't mention earlier, but Bowel's being promulgated as the second CBD in Cape Town. So I think it just really further re-emphasizes the position of Monarch, and I think it's definitely it's got value now, but it's also got a lot more value if you take the 5, 10, 15-year view. The city of Cape Town is growing. I think the mayor said the other day in a speech that they want to become an 8 million person city, and you have to decentralize. And if you've been to Cape Town, you've been to the Atlantic Seaboard, you know it's beautiful. If you've been to Tiger Valley, you know it's beautiful and there's opportunity as well. It's definitely, in our opinion, the next bustling hub of Cape Town. So yeah, I mean, all around, extremely excited about the area, extremely excited about our partners in Only Realty Forge. And yeah, we are hoping to bring the area and the opportunity alive in further going forward.
Great. Well, thank you both so much for chatting with us today. And yeah, looking forward to seeing all our community get invested in this amazing property opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Carly. Bye.
Bye.